Too many times people lease vehicles and they don't understand what they're purchasing or what they're purchasing or the product that they're buying if they're leasing a vehicle. And I wanted to go over, it's called Assets Wear, Lease Protection. What exactly is covered? And the reason I'm sharing this because too many people don't know what they're leasing or what product are they buying. They just say yes in the finance office, or they have no clue. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the things that are covered under Assets Wear Lease Protection. And it's called Keep Your Investment Safe. So one of the highlights are, yes, I have my piece of paper here because I want to make sure that I'm accurate on all the things that I'm going to be sharing and in the brochure it says, well, let me just say this. If you purchase a product in the finance office, you can always ask for a brochure. Ask for a brochure to explain the products that you are buying. And the reason I'm saying you ask for that is because you want to be able to go look at your paperwork later, after the fact. It's always later if you have a question on something that you purchased or something you purchased during the lease of your vehicle, even something that you purchased and you're buying your vehicle. So ask for a brochure. And if there's not a brochure, ask, can you get online and can you print me some information? Because it's all about after the fact. You know, I have too many customers who come to me after the fact and they say, you know what about this? What about that? Or they say, you know what? I didn't know this. I didn't know that. Well, because they didn't ask the right questions in the finance office when they purchased or leased that vehicle. But if you have questions later, yes, you can ask those questions later, but why not ask those questions in the finance office? Or later on, you're looking at your paperwork, you have some questions, maybe you can pull out your brochure, or maybe you can call the dealership or go to the dealership and get those questions asked. But it's always good to get those questions asked in the finance office. If you don't, you go back to your paperwork, you go back to your brochure, you go back to looking up online and have that finance manager point you in the direction that you need, where you need to be. The first thing it says on here, it says dents, chips, or cracks, you'll be covered. I'm gonna go over the highlights. So you have a zero customer deductible. What does that mean? That means that in any cases of this happening to your vehicle, guess what? It's a zero deductible. You know how you take a car in a dealership and you get some warranty work done? Well, there's a zero deductible, $100 deductible, or $200 deductible, whatever that deductible is, it's a fee, right? But for this, it is a zero deductible. But the highlights is, besides the deductible, it covers up to $5,000 if the vehicle is driven fewer than the average of 25,000 miles per year. So if it's 25,000 per year, it could be, you could do a 36 months at 25,000 or less, or you can do a 24 month and be at 24,000. So, or even if for some reason you do a 48 month lease, even though I don't recommend you do a 48 month lease, but if you do a 48 month and you're at 25,000 miles or less, you have that coverage. So, but anyway, the coverage is up to $2,500 if the vehicle is driven more than an average of $25,000. The lower miles that you drive, the more coverage you get. So the lower miles you drive, 25,000 per year, or 25,000 doing that 36 months, or 25,000 doing that 48 months. Remember, I said you should not be leasing a car for 48 months, right? Anyway, you get covered up to 5,000. So if you drive more than 25,000 miles per year, then you're going to have a 2,500 coverage. So again, if you drive your vehicle for 36 months and you are over 25,000 miles per year, or 25,000 total, more than 25,000 miles, you are going to have up to coverage of 25,000. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. Hope I didn't confuse anybody. But also, the charges are waived for a single event and Assets Wear that is less than 1,000. That's huge. Now, coverage under this plan is, listen closely, you got dents, scratches, and chip parts. Now, that's important because sometimes we get dents in our vehicles, right? We have little boo-boos, we have accidents, we have scratches, and we have chip parts. So you got the interior stains. If you have kids, for some reason, they spill something on your interior and you can't get it out. Well, guess what? That's covered under the plan. Or if you spill something, some coffee, or you spill something that you didn't get up and you forgot about it and it's there, you can't get it out, well, that's covered. Another important coverage is chipped glass. Now, come on now, we could be going down the street, down the highway, or going wherever, and our windshield is cracked. Instead of you having to cover that under your insurance claim, well, guess what? When you have accessware, you can get that chip class fixed, or you can get the coverage. You won't be charged when you turn that vehicle in because of accessware. And it also covers tires and wheels. Another good cool part about this the accessware is missing parts, owner manual or key. I don't believe that GM Financial is charging anybody if they don't turn their owner's manual in. So I've never heard anybody being charged for that, but they are charging for keys. So if your keys are missing, you got coverage under that, covered under the plan, and or keys if charges are less than $150 per item. So in other words, if the key is $150 per item, but now these days, remote keys running between the ranges of $280 to $300. Access mileage up to 400. So if you're at 25 cents per mile, you can go over the miles up to a $400 charge. That's huge, especially if you're currently over your miles. You have a little bit of room that's going to be covered on your accessware. Now, exclusions means that it's not covered, but you have charges for a single event of $1,000 or more, charges due to dishonest, intentional, fraudulent, criminal, or illegal acts. We're gonna not even talk about that part. I don't even want to discuss that part, okay? Charges for missing parts valued at greater than $150 each. So if anything is missing in your car and the cost is $150 or more, it is not covered. All right, charges if the odometer has stopped, been altered, or tampered with, or disconnected. So if you disconnect your odometer if you disconnect your odometer or stop, or they know you altered with it, it's not going to be covered, okay? So if you have problems with your odometer, then you need to go to the dealership and get it checked out, because if you tamper with it, they even think you tamper with it, it's not going to be covered. So again, charges if the odometer has stopped, been altered, or tampered with, or disconnected. So if you got a problem, got an issue, you need to get that taken care of. Or matter of fact, don't even mess with the odometer. But charges for any other part, equipment, or accessory added to the vehicle after delivery is not covered. So if you add anything extra that you put on your vehicle, then it is not covered on the lease. They're not going to cover your charge because you had a boo-boo on it and you put it on your lease car. All right, and it's accessory. Eligibility means you're available to use this. Eligibility, yes. Available for new, previously untitled vehicles with fewer than 10,000 miles at lease inception. Previously dealer-titled vehicles are also eligible. Available for vehicles up to $100,000 on MSRP, which means that if your vehicle's up to $100,000 at cost, then it's going to be covered. Accessware lease protection must be purchased at the effective date of lease, meaning that you cannot come back later, 6 months later, or a year later and say, hey, you know what? I want to get accessware after the fact, right? So you have to get it at the time of the lease. So that's very important to know that. But again, if you are purchasing a vehicle in the finance, if you are purchasing a item or product in the finance office, ask for a brochure. Ask for a brochure. Ask for a brochure. Ask for a brochure. Or have the finance manager to point you in the direction where you can get the brochure. Or matter of fact, you know what? Do this. Say, you know what, can you go on your computer and print the necessary documents I need to know exactly what I'm getting in the finance office, so that I can do what? I can reference this later if I want to. You always want to do this. So think clearly when you're in the finance office. Don't be so excited that you are purchasing or leasing a vehicle that you forget to question. You know what? Do like I do right now. I write my questions down, my pen and paper, or in my phone. I take notes. If I see something or want something, I take notes. So take notes before you go in the finance office.